So what did your daughter think when you two watched it together?
She is way not on board with this TV show.
Wait, what? Okay.
I said, look, you at least have to watch the first episode. And by the end, it's like, do I really have to see the second episode? I go, it goes a little bit into her Muslim culture, maybe. And she's like, no, I'm out. And she was done.
So your daughter's racist. That's terrible. I'm so disappointed to hear. But I would say your daughter is the target demographic for this show.
She is definitely. I'll give you my quick impression. It's a Disney Channel show.
That's exactly what I thought. It's a Disney Channel
there's
show.
No doubt about it. It is for the Disney Channel set. And so if that does not appeal to you, you will not like the show. And and I will say this, it is probably one of the better Disney Channel shows, but that's not saying much. And it has all the story problems and all the character problems that a Disney Channel show has. And that's my feeling about this in a nutshell.
Well, let's get into our early reactions. I felt the same way you did. This is Disney Channel. This is not for kids in high school even. It's for younger kids.
That's the weird thing. That's the weird thing. It's set in high school, but I don't think a self-respecting high schooler would watch this show.
No, it's too, and they always say that, like, when it comes to children's programming, they always are watching whatever is sort of just ahead of them by a few years. So, if you're a younger kid, you're watching stuff that's just a little bit ahead. So this would be like children, single digit age, watching this for the most part. I'm not in that demographic. That doesn't mean I couldn't find something to enjoy in it. And I don't think I could. I mean, the one thing I will say this, you cannot blame the actors. They're just doing their job. I actually think the directors did a decent job of you're getting into Kamala Khan's head. And one of the ways they do that is she does like fan art, right? So she does this little fan art stuff, and the fan art is sort of throughout it, like she's driving kind of in her head. She sees on buildings. That
was really good. That's probably the best part of the whole show.
That aspect of the, like, her fan art is sort of brought to life in her head, in her vision of how she sees the world. They spent more time on that than the special effects of her superpowers.
Yeah.
And it just, it was just really cheesy. Yeah. It was really, and I'm wondering, why did they sway so far from the comic?
I think it's money. It has to be money, because
budget,
because for her to do, to have the embiggen power to, to kind of be the Mr. Fantastic, they don't have the budget to do it on one hand.
I guess, but it did seem like they put a lot into the high school world and her fan art. Like, that was a big part of the show. And then when it came to her superpowers, and we've seen a little bit in the trailers, it's just this sort of light thing. And she has like a light hand that reaches out and light stuff. And that's fine, but the powers aren't really defined. Yeah. And then what did you think of her origin?
Well, I mean, quite frankly, as much as we hate the Inhumans, it was a better origin than this one. In the comic book, she got the Terrigen Mist. She became an Inhuman, and now she's kind of a mutant, so to speak. In this one, she finds a bracelet, and that bracelet gives her powers. And it's like,
doesn't just find a bracelet. It comes in the mail from her grandma.
Yeah, so it's a family heirloom.
Right, which has some weird spiritual, there's something going on. I mean, it's unclear what the villain is, and I think that what's important is something that defines the hero is the villain, and there's no real clear villain in here. And she's just a typical kid, right? She is like, I want to go to Avengers Con. That's in the first episode. She wants to go to Avengers Con, and it's weird because it's not like any other convention. It seems like a cosplay contest with a bunch of displays of Avengers memorabilia and stuff, because I guess everyone in the Marvel universe now worships the Avengers. I would think that, like, after all the like chaos and whatnot, there might be a little bit of disdain, and she's a Captain Marvel super fan. She believes that Captain Marvel's the one that, like, okay, the Avengers did okay, but then Captain Marvel came in and is the one who really kicked ass. So I don't know. That doesn't really work for me. But The one thing that did work about the show, and again, this isn't necessarily for me, is the Muslim family, her family. It's like, what this is almost like, you know what this is? Take the superhero stuff out of it. It's a show for little kids about a Muslim family and their culture.
Yeah, that's, and you know what? They could have done that and made a really good show about that. You know, easily a 3-season pickup. And it's an interesting family. And I think there's enough dynamics going on there, especially for the age it's meant for, little teen girls, that you've got something there.
Yeah. Again, not for me, but like that was the part of that to me is almost the only part of the show that really worked, was the sort of glimpse into the culture and her family and the family dynamics and whatever. And it's just like, it's okay. And it's just like, oh, this is kind of like cringe, but it's not, because it's for little kids. Basically, that's but we've never seen that. We've never seen that. You know, there've been shows like Blackish and whatnot, and it's like, all right, fine, cool. But like, we've never seen this for a Muslim family. I thought like that aspect. So it's almost like a backdoor. Like, we want to do a show about a Muslim family, but to make you watch it, it's about a young girl who's a superhero in that family.
Yeah. And
she has to hide that. But I was talking earlier today. I was on the Nerdrotic Nooner, the Nooner, with Gary Beekler, and we were talking about, and you probably, almost no one in the audience is going to remember this but me. And we'll get to your chat as soon as Alan and I wrap this up in about 10 minutes, but like, or less, hopefully less.
Yeah, I've got a few things I got 2 things to say about it.
Okay, good. Okay, I watched this show when I was a kid, Shazam, with Billy Batson.
I watched it too, and
an old man, right? And Mighty Isis. It was like the Saturday morning super whatever. I think it was on CBS. So Shazam was like part of that, you know. And Billy Batson, who was this teen kid, he would just say Shazam. Of course, he turns into Captain Marvel, right? And they travel around in a van with an old guy. I even forget how that happened. And most of the problems they solve are like, someone's on a cliff, I'll get them. I need to help someone. Fix a tire. That's kind of the feats of superheroism. She's like there's a couple things that happen, and it's all people about to fall, and she saves them from falling. And it's very sort of Disney Channel like situations. She's not going up against a foe. It's not particularly deep. The stuff that works is her family, and at least the directing of the sort of getting in her head, like that really works. But then it's like the superhero stuff, I don't know how she's going to fit into the Marvels. Honestly, It's like, I feel like they made a huge mistake with the changing her powers. I think that was a mistake. I think it would have been a really cool thing to do with the big hands. I know it's a little too Reed Richards, but so what? There could be multiple people with, look, there's a lot of people in the Marvel universe who can fly. Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of them have super strength. You know.
Exactly. But Alan, I'm really mixed on it, and mixed to meh. And I probably won't continue watching it because it's just, that's my reaction. And what's weird is, of course, it's not even like, it's just every Marvel thing that comes out.
Yeah.
You go on social media and it's all positive. Then it comes out and other people have other opinions. And I'll just say,
let me tell you why the show stinks.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Can before you say that, can I just say, you were defending Doctor Strange 2 just a couple weeks ago. Yeah. You're a Disney super fan and you don't like this, and your daughter wouldn't, after the first episode, she just peaced out.
Well, you know, this is the trend. There's several trends coming out of Disney in terms of storytelling. And to me, what makes this show not work is the storytelling. All the elements are there. Everything you need to tell a really good story are there, and they're blowing it big time. And you get the sense that this is a comic book show, but none of the writers have ever read a comic book. And in this sense, when you read a comic book, you open the page, you're grabbed by the opening cover. In the middle, all this action happens, and at the very end, something happens that forces you to wait a month and then buy the next episode. That's how TV shows work. You know, they work exactly the same way, and they're not doing it here. You don't get any real sense of Ms. Marvel's powers until the end of the first episode. it's just her, the setup of her in high school. She's the brown girl who gets marginalized by her class and, loves, there's nothing in that first episode. All that first episode does is introduce Kamala Khan, and we're supposed to, that should be reason enough to like this show. Right. And then the second episode, I liked it because it explained a lot about Muslim culture that I didn't understand or didn't know. But then it becomes about, oh, well, I have this new power now. How does it work? There's not even really a moment where there's a brief montage where it's like, okay, how do I use my powers? But it just really falls flat. And there's a good cliffhanger because they kind of build up the origin of the bracelet. But by then it's like, what am I watching? Where am I going? You mentioned there's no villain. Again, without a villain, without someone sinister lurking in the background, where is this show headed? Where am I going? Why do I care to move on to the next one? And I feel like this has happened with Moon Knight. This has happened with I think to some degree Hawkeye, where there's just nothing that really it compels me to go from episode to episode to episode. And I'll say this about her powers. She puts on this bracelet that she got from her grandmother, and it gives her these powers. I don't understand what the powers, this power that she has to create light and make her hand big and create these light objects that she can stand on. I assume there's some Muslim background to it or something, or there isn't. And I don't understand, what is it about this power that makes it, that says something about her and her culture. And I'm just frustrated by it because they're missing a great opportunity here. This show should be much better than it is.
Yeah, well, it should be at least skew a little older, or at least have some.
Or a compelling story. A compelling story.
I didn't get a sense of who she was, and one of the things I think it's sort of like Green Lantern's origin. He gets the ring. He's the Green Lantern, and just to go to some other Marvel heroes, Steve Rogers was Captain America before he even got the super soldier serum. He had the heart of a hero. He's the one that jumped on the grenade to save everyone else, and an act of self-sacrifice, which is self-sacrifice is what heroes do, right? And I felt like he was already Captain America. The fact that he picked up the garbage can when the bully was going after him and said, "I could do this all day," he was a hero.
And guess what? You know what other superhero was her age? Peter Parker.
Right. So, and why is Peter Parker so much more interesting? It's just that she was missing some deeper layers. Her biggest conflict was that she wanted to go to Avengers Con and her parents wouldn't let her.
Yeah.
And then she's all the complaints about, well, I'm just a brown girl in Jersey. Okay. And
yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff like that. And I just thought that after a while it got a little,
and the need for a villain. There's no sense of really some danger, something ominous happening yet. And we just saw the first two episodes. There's nothing. Yeah. Where are we going? I said it before. I'm saying it again. Where are we going?
Yeah. I don't know how well this is going to go over. And I'm curious how she may evolve, or if they change it for when she, I guess her character is going to be in the Marvels, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is basically just going to be the female Avengers, right? Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
Right. And quite frankly, I don't like to get on the hate bandwagon, but I can't envision anything good coming out of that story.
Well, the fact that they're not making Captain Marvel 2, I think is sort of, I don't know. It just seems like if they were going to make the Marvels as a movie and it was on Disney Plus, maybe that works. But
yeah,
I don't know. It just, I want to be brought into the story. And I feel like the only thing that really worked for me was the sort of directing style with using her fan art that she created. I thought that was very it was creative. Also, the camera moved around a lot in very interesting ways.
Yeah.
The weakest.
It's a really good looking show. I would say it's one of the best Disney Channel shows I've seen.
But wait,
which isn't saying a whole lot.
Right. But wait.
And then, but I'll also say this. I think Ms. Marvel should have been a movie. And I think Shang-Chi should have been a TV series.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. But I just think the weakest part of it was the writing. I think the writing was so weak. It was so like just.
Yeah, it's teenage talk. It's teenage talk throughout the whole thing.
It's teenage talk, which is fine, but what can you say? All right, let's go to our comments here, since Alan and we've said enough.
We've dumped enough on it.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, and there's some super chats here again. All right, Flaccid Phoenix says she would be more sympathetic if her parents prevented her from going to award this. Yeah. Exactly. Then I would really feel bad for her. And slap that like button. Slap that like.
Thanks, Dirty Onion.
Yeah, thank you, Dirty Onion, for that. Slap that like button, just like Alan. Yeah, slap that like button like Alan slaps his boobs. Okay, so Tumbleweed. Stargirl is also a high school TV show, and they have a villain. It's a high school drama with superhero problems. Okay.
Yeah. Stargirl is surprisingly good.
Okay,
I've not seen the new. I haven't seen the new one yet, but I will. But I was surprised how much I like Stargirl.
All right, there you go. Matthew A. Kobo says, it's interesting that Marvel has been introducing their younger characters, America Chavez, Kate Bishop, with older heroes, but they didn't do it with Kamala. Yeah, that's interesting.
The comic book did.
It doesn't
Captain Marvel is in the comic books.
Right, but it doesn't mean that there may not be a cameo in the series. We're only 2 episodes in. So there you go. Zax says, my wife yelled from across the house, why is Thor a girl now? Pretty funny. Yeah, why can't they just make a different character? Jane Foster is Thorina. Thorina I would buy, but it doesn't make sense. Buford T. Justice for $10. Thank you for your super chat, Buford. Oh no, Marvel sucks again. I'm not.
They need comic book writers to be doing these things.
I agree, but old school comic writers.
Yeah.
Jamie Ruiz says, guess I'm be a racist for not watching it. Well, no, you're just a person that sort of checked out. I do think you nailed it, because I think, did you text me or something? And you said, this is like a Disney Channel show.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I think you could honestly say it's not for me. And it's not.
Let me just say, Bethel Games knows what's up. Alan's daughter has better taste than Alan.
She doesn't.
Fact check true.